What's going on, guys? Your boy HQ420 here, working y'all back. Another episode Beyond the Keyboard, back at it. Corey Hughes has been a little bit under the weather since Thanksgiving, but he's back with us, as powerful as ever. Corey, tonight, are you doing well this eve?
Yeah, I'm not that powerful tonight, but I'm doing all right.
Okay, all
I'm like
right.
I'm mentally and I'm emotionally exhausted because I'm in full on research mode, putting in ridiculous numbers of hours every day till I'm literally falling asleep at my fucking keyboard, and then I go get 4 or 5 hours sleep and I come back to my computer and do it again. And so it's been very exhausting, and I feel like I'm getting close to something.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do a quick.
I want you to address something because I don't know if you've seen this or not, but for some reason I'm not sure who this particular person is, but for some reason they've been blowing up my ex profile with stuff about potentially hurting your credibility on this Oswald deal.
Oh, they can fuck right off. They haven't sent me shit. They haven't sent me anything.
I keep getting this thing, and I'm just like, well, I mean, can my man do his research and just go from
So
there? I mean,
um,
I mean,
nobody's done the kind of research I'm doing now, or maybe they've attempted it but haven't gotten there. But the stuff that I'm doing
mhm,
is fucking pretty goddamn deep. The story of Oswald and the story of the Kennedy assassination are two different things. They're two different stories. The story of Oswald is a story of a very early covert intelligence operation that was
mhm.
repurposed for the assassination. Um, but there are things in Oswald's background that have gone unresearched or unanswered. Let me give you an example. So, allegedly, Oswald's father's name is Robert Edward Lee Oswald, named after Robert E. Lee, who's a distant cousin. He's got like 20 distant cousins who are fucking famous. Franklin Roosevelt,
Mhm.
even Eleanor Roosevelt, believe it or not. But anyway, you have Oswald's brother is Robert Edward Lee Oswald Jr. Okay, that's the official story. That's how he's named. However, when you start to dig into the actual really meaningful documents, stuff like house purchases, I can't find birth certificates for these fucking people. Deaths, census, house purchases, um, testimony of people who knew him, things in the newspaper. Every single fucking thing references to Oswald's father just says his name was Lee Oswald. That's what it says. His name was Lee Oswald. There are conflicting records later that when you get past the era of 1920s to 1933 ish, you start to see Robert Edward Lee Oswald, the name, popping up more frequently. Whereas before that, it was always just Lee Oswald. So what's the suspicion here? The suspicion is Oswald's father is not his father. Okay. Also, on Oswald's father's voter registration that he filled out in like 31, I think, or no, it was before that. Um, he put, when it says like eye color, hair color, he put dark brown for eyes and for hair. Lee Oswald's got light blue eyes, like almost gray. They're so pale. You don't have a brown eyed father and have a blue eyed son. Sorry, it just doesn't fucking happen. So there's some kind of shenanigans going on with the father,
Kind of
the
call it
father's
recessive
name.
genes and recessive
You have a
or recessive
6%.
genes.
If you have a parent with brown eyes, you have a 6% chance of having a blue eyed child. But
Oh, okay.
I can't determine the color of Oswald's mother's eyes. But there's enough shenanigans going on in the record to know something went up, something went on. There's something that's not right here. Pieces of Oswald and his brother's background that you read in the common literature, I'm finding are completely false. Like it said that Oswald's brother is a CPA. And so I'm like, no, he's not. He works for a fucking brick company as a salesman. So I did some digging, and it turns out that there's a different Robert Oswald who is a CPA, who's not related, allegedly, to this Robert Oswald, right? So I've run into a lot of things like that. I find a lot of pieces of their background has been plucked from somewhere else and inserted into their story. On top of that, I got 15 addresses that none of the Oswalds ever lived at that are at one time or another in Oswald's mother's name that the kids never knew about. Where the fuck are these houses coming from? What I can kind of put together is that somewhere around 1946, 1947, when she hooked up with a guy named Edwin Ekdahl, this is Marguerite Oswald, Oswald's mother. When she hooked up with this guy Ekdahl was connected to like some shady people involved with biological weapons and he was friends with the guy who started the biological weapons program at Fort Detrick. Okay, so Ekdahl is connected to government spooks, period. It's after this era that the Oswald family basically cuts all contact with all of the mother side of the family, all the father side of the family, and then we start having these address anomalies pop up, and then we start having weird background stuff pop up. So around this time, something happened. Now, people argue against the double Oswalds, which to me is, if you have eyes in your fucking head and you still think that there was not two Oswalds, you might be fucking retarded. So let me, I'm going to screen share these pictures one more time just because they're that fucking important. Oh my God. And I got some news for you. I'm going to tell you in a second after I get done bitching about how slow my computer is.
Okay.
Because I got one waiting for me tomorrow morning. I got to go pick up.
Oh, do you?
Oh, I do. I let myself.
Is it the M4?
The M4. Yep. I let myself the money. See, I just let myself the money. Yeah, I let myself the money. I got to pay it back next month though. So, where the fuck is this thing? So, when you look at Oswald's, damn it, where the fuck are my pictures? You have to give me a second on the sharing here. I'll talk for a minute, or maybe I got some other pictures here. Okay, yeah, I'll share this picture right here. This is the rarest picture of Oswald that there is. No one ever talks about this picture. Come on, open up. All right.
Screen. Technical difficulties, guys. You know what I'm saying?
There we go.
It's what it looks like when you do it live. All right, there we go. Shebang.
So that's Oswald. That's the real Oswald.
Okay.
Let me see. Can I open this up?
It's like the real Slim Shady.
That's the real Slim Shady right there. So this is Oswald, who was Oswald his whole fucking life. And sometime around the age of, I don't know, 7 or 8 is when we have this introduction of the other Oswald. Because this clearly is not the guy who got arrested on November 22nd. If you want to just bring up Oswald's arrest photo from the internet and you can share it on your end, it is just clear as day. We're dealing with two different people here. So anybody out there who genuinely thinks that we're not two Oswalds is a fucking idiot and doesn't want to analyze the evidence. And trust me when I tell you, there's not a person out there on planet Earth who is putting in the kind of time that I am. And people who put in the time in the past on this stuff gave up because ain't nobody made any progress. But I've made some fucking progress. One of the biggest problems we had was the Marine schedule, right? How are you going to have two different people under the same name with the same identification numbers being in the Marines in the same places at the same time, generally speaking, right? How the fuck does that work? Well, it was difficult. And when you go through the Marine records, you can totally see where it was difficult, how it was difficult, and how they were obviously, two of them were in communication because they coordinated their activities, right? So like Oswald shoots himself in October of 1957, and he ends up being in the brig until November the 5th, not the brig, the hospital till November 15th, right? So like that's clearly not the same fucking guy that we were just looking at. Not even close. See, okay, he's clicked on this picture right here with the you see the booking photo down to the left, right there? Here. Yeah, click on that. All right, so this is a bad image on the right, but that's the original Lee Oswald in his Marine booking photo. And this photo was taken December of 1956. Notice he's 5'9" tall here. Okay. He goes through the Marines, and 3 years later, when he gets out in 59, he's grown 2 inches because he's only 17. He's 5'11" when he gets out. All of Oswald's booking records and his autopsy record when he was autopsied show that he was 5'9". So the idea that there weren't two Oswalds is so fucking ridiculous that people who don't understand it just need to get with the program, because it is the funny thing is, like, these people who will deny that there were two Oswalds, they will admit that the fucking government has done the most fucked up shit, crop dusted, whole towns with LSD, fucking done MK Ultra shit, like literally murdered and dissected people, faked alien invasions, and they'll do all that stuff, but they won't raise a duplicate child for the purposes of infiltrating them into the Soviet Union. Like, the cognitive dissonance of people who don't understand this stuff is absolutely fucking dumbfounding. So, all right, we can kill that screen share. But yeah, nobody's come to me and had any problems with what I'm doing, because they can't. They just can't. And it's amazing how many people think they're fucking experts. And well, this one guy in particular sends me an email like every couple of weeks. I'll do a big show and he'll be like, Corey, you got the Manole wrong. It wasn't Jack Valenti. Oh, really? Then who was it, dickhead? Like, nobody's putting in the time that I put in, and nobody has any answers, but everybody knows everything. It's really fucking hilarious.
Well, I mean, that tends to happen from time to time. Hey, I let you do your thing. You know what I'm saying? And then because I believe that you are a man of character. All right, despite what other people may have thought of you in the past. And if you run across something where you feel like you made a mistake, you will correct your mistake.
Oh yeah, totally.
I feel like you're that
totally.
person. Yeah.
I've corrected a bunch of mistakes, and I have a couple things I need to correct from my book, or clarify, really. But yeah, I'm really excited about the research lately because it's going somewhere. Like, I'll give you an example. I know all this shit with Oswald started somewhere back in his family, and it had nothing to do with the Kennedy assassination, and it goes back to the late 40s. That being said, by the time of the assassination, 1963, J. Edgar Hoover had collected a secret file on one of Oswald's cousins, a woman named Floy Oswald, who went on to become Floy Oswald Brown. She also went by a bunch of other aliases. And there's about a dozen files on her that I can't find. And there's one of those files is labeled with a 67, which is Hoover's private stash. Like, nobody gets to look at this shit except for him and his boyfriend, Tolson, who was the number 2 guy in the FBI. It was an eyes-only file. Maybe his top 3 or 4 guys in the whole agency got to see this file. And it was on Oswald's first cousin prior to the assassination for a decade. So what's that about? It's in New Orleans. She's got to be connected to Marcello. She's using aliases. I mean, so this is weird shit that no other Kennedy researchers have ever talked about. There's a lot of these little nuggets that are out there in the millions of pages of documents that just go unseen, So, but no, I encourage anyone out there who has any problems with what I'm doing. Number 1, go fuck yourself. And number 2, you can send me an email and we can discuss it. In that order, please.
Allegedly, this person says that you blocked them. That's what they're saying. They keep it riddles my timeline. I see the notifications pop up, and they'll hashtag everything. Hashtag day 0, hashtag X cube. I was just like, and it just be like a long list of stuff. And sometimes I have enough time to look through it, and so I was like, well, I mean, what's all this? I was just trying to figure out what was going on as far as that goes. And this particular person thinks that you may be hurting your credibility. I was
really?
Well, let the man do his research,
really?
And come to his conclusions at the end of it, and then we can go from there.
Okay, anybody who looks at what I'm looking at and doesn't fucking go absolutely insane like they're heading to the loony bin, there's something fucking wrong with them. It's the thing people don't understand is a thing called tradecraft. Tradecraft is what the CIA does. We call it, as layman, spycraft. They call it tradecraft. Tradecraft incorporates all the fucking spooky spy shit that they do, the body doubles and all that stuff. And why do they do all that stuff? They do all this crazy stuff. Number 1, there's only one reason, really. It's plausible deniability. They need to be able to come up with a story and say, we didn't do it. They'll do this complicated shit and raise a duplicate for 20 fucking years, right? Send him to the Marines and all over the place, and then create a legend, setting him up for literally 2 years before the assassination, and then they'll set him up. But the reason that people don't believe it is because they don't think the CIA would do that stuff. And the CIA takes advantage of that. If you're like, the CIA wouldn't do that, guess what? They sure as fuck would, because you think that way, you know? So, yeah, it's trust me, no one out there has as much time put into this as I do on a
Well,
consistent,
look, see,
regular basis for as many years as I have.
right. So seeing how we're on this, we may have uh, a particular similar situation going on right here with this recent shooting of the United Healthcare CEO. Well, allegedly, they found my man sitting at McDonald's with everything on him after he did a clean kill and got away. So I'm just the eyebrow was raised there,
The
Mister
eyebrow is raised.
Luigi Mangione. Okay, now I know this happened during the
Fox
time we were
News had
all
him up there, and they literally had a picture of fucking Luigi from Mario Brothers up there, on like in a little sort. I was like, "You're shitting me." But no, it's about time we
yeah.
had a
So
Mario or a Luigi. You know,
yeah, so whenever I initially seen the footage of that, I'm thinking like, okay, this person has to be a professional, all right. And the reason that I believe that is because the gun that he had at the time it jammed. It jammed a few times because you've seen him clearing the gun, but he was very calm the whole time while he was clearing the gun, like he knew exactly what to do. His getaway was playing perfectly, and everything looked like the signs of somebody who has potentially done this before. Only for him to be sitting at McDonald's with the gun that he supposedly shot the guy with cash, with all this like evidence against him, and somebody at McDonald's was like, "Hey, that's the guy." I'm just like, really? I mean, that's it. That's
so
just the guy.
if I'm going to go out and murder somebody, I should probably not say this in case I go murder somebody, but if I'm going to go murder somebody, this is what I'm going to do. Number one, I'm going to become black. I am going to get one of the realistic masks. You know what I mean? One of the
Mm-hmm.
realistic masks of a black dude, and have a hood, and I'll have like the fucking paint on my hands, the whole 9 yards. That's number
Mm-hmm.
one.
Okay.
Then
Okay.
what else would I do? You'd have to think this through in advance. You'd have to have a dead drop for yourself so you can go and pick up a phone that's ready so you don't use your phone. You know,
Right.
you have to have like, I would fucking pay some homeless dude to come to my house and like play on my computer so it'll show that I have video game hours going as I'm out killing somebody. You know what I mean? Like they can check my fucking log on my GeForce Now and fucking see that I was playing video games when I was actually out murdering somebody. So there's a lot of things that you do to set up, and what are we doing? We're creating plausible deniability. This is what the CIA does, right? When you plan a murder and you get and do all those things so you can get away with it, that is the same thing as the CIA's plausible deniability, which is, they have to be able to deny stuff, right? So
Hey, the man even had this manifesto with him
yeah, he just happened to have,
at
and
McDonald's.
at McDonald's. Yeah, so this stuff all whenever shit just screams of it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense, right?
I mean,
Um,
and the only thing that he said was planted on him was the cash.
I didn't hear that. They said he said they
Yeah,
planted cash
I
on
think
him.
yeah, he said that cash ain't mine. I was like, so you saying the manifesto and the ghost gun, the quote unquote ghost gun is yours? Like
Well, at first, was it a ghost
he
gun?
got rid of. That's what they said it was. They said it was a 3D printed
You
gun.
see, the very first time I heard about this, they were talking about it was like some secret fucking gun that was only issued to like Green Berets or something. It was supposed to be like some super fancy, you know, handgun, but that turned out to be bullshit.
Yeah, yeah. They said that the gun that they found on him that they're saying is the murder weapon was one of the 3D printed guns, and of course he had a silencer for it. So it's just like I'm sorry, but everyday folks ain't out there getting silencers. You know what I'm saying? Like that. like that's just not happening. Not even on the black market. Okay,
So
we
did this
ain't
guy
got
have any background?
gangbangers who out there getting silencers.
Did this guy have any background in military or anything?
Hell, he's an Ivy Leaguer. Hell, I think his folks was rich. Hell, I mean, we almost know everything about Luigi. Okay, I mean, right out the gate. I mean, his manifesto and everything. We never could get the manifesto from the from the chick.
The tranny
Was it
shooter.
the chick? Yeah, the tranny shooter. Yeah, we could never get the manifesto from that. That manifesto was a little bit too dangerous. But this particular manifesto, we've got that sitting out there in the public view. So this particular person is 26. All right, and they found him at the McDonald's in Pennsylvania. So he was just there, getting them a McGriddle. They still got those, right? It's a pancake with
Unfortunately,
the
I ate
with the
one like a
sausage.
month ago.
Did you?
Yeah, I
How'd you
shouldn't do it
feel
ever
about it when
again.
you ate it?
Terrible. What I really like from McDonald's, the only thing I like is their breakfast sausage burritos. They're like $2 and they're fucking good.
Okay, okay. So it says according to Luigi's notebook, said he originally considered using a bomb instead of shooting him. That was his original thought. But then he decided not to do it because he didn't want to put innocent lives in danger. I said, okay. All right. Now they said his particular fingerprints match prints found near shooting scene. It said fingerprints were found on a water bottle and protein bar near where Thompson was killed that matched the fingerprint. I mean, how y'all out there finding random water bottles and protein bars? I'm like, yep, I'm definitely dusting that for prints. There's got to be. I mean, you want to know how many people's in New York? I mean, shit. The likelihood that you found some bottle and protein bar and it's like, yep, I'm gonna dust that one. All right, that's definitely the guy. So we've got that. Okay, we've got that as well. All right, and of course it says that the motive. They believe the motive for the shooting was, or they're working on a theory, and it's centered around Mangione suffering a debilitating back injury on July 4th, 2023, which required a visit to an emergency room, subsequently screws on his spine, according to images posted on social media.
Hold on a
So I'm
second.
guessing he
That
didn't
makes
get
no
full
sense.
coverage.
This makes no sense at
Yeah,
all. Because number one, if you're going to be at a point where you're willing to shoot somebody and you've only had an injury for a year and a half, there's motherfuckers who lose their shit after 10 years of dealing with something. Like, I can't take this anymore. But a year and a half? Really?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, I don't buy it. Not at all.
Yeah. Now, I guess after this, uh, Luigi was in possession of notebook paper that had handwritten notes that expressed disdain for corporate America, in particular the healthcare industry. All right. I'm still not. I don't know if they didn't cover his particular. I mean, this dude's an Ivy Leaguer, so you don't get into an Ivy League school being a broke ninja. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they let like two broke ninjas in a year. That's about their limit. Other than that, you need to know you need to know
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah.
You just don't get into Ivy League school. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck if your grades are good or not. You could have got an A+. You could have had 100% on everything your entire life, and you don't just get into an Ivy League school.
Correct.
This shit don't happen.
Yes, correct. So this whole thing is
So
fishy. Number
yeah,
one, like the identification of him came, I think I saw on like Fox or something, literally
yeah.
from a facial identification. Like they saw his face or part of a face. He had a mask on, but like one of these masks, and they still identified him from like here to here. Like,
No,
no,
but then they said supposedly they had another picture of him. Supposedly he pulled his mask down so he could flirt with a girl at Starbucks. That's what they put out there in the ether. Even though it looked like a
this guy
different
murdered
joke,
somebody and then went and talked and hit on some girl at Starbucks. This is what we're being told.
This is pretty good. Now,
That
Mangioni's
guy he's
mother.
got ice water in his
Yeah.
fucking veins, bro. That guy is a professional fucking hitman who has killed a million fucking people to do that shit. So yeah, this is not
No,
making
they
any
said this
sense.
dude just went to ski. He just went to school, man. He's just hanging out. Man, they showed the alleged area where he lived. Man, this is like a mansion he's in. I'm
So
like,
I'm gonna tell you, this is being that he's an Ivy Leaguer. When I think Ivy League, I think of the secret societies like Skull and Bones and shit. But I don't know how active they are today. I don't know if they still hold the same weight they did 50 years ago. But that's a connection there. Just this spooky shit going on. The CIA has been involved with the Ivy Leagues forever. So maybe this guy was, maybe he honestly, it could have been something as simple as he looked similar to a guy that they had. Like the CIA, at least in like Kennedy era, they would group people together by look, right? Like all of David Ferrie's associates were 5'7", 5'8", 5'9", skinny, 150 pounds, light brown hair, receding hairline. They all had the same
Mm-hmm.
description. So they're
Right.
interchangeable, right? You never know who's who because the descriptions are all the same. So they do stuff like that. So who knows? But yeah, this doesn't make any sense. Either that or the media is just incompetent, right? And just giving bad stories. But
Now here's what we got here. Luigi's mother filed a missing person report for him before the shooting. Said on December 4th, she reported a missing person report for her son with the San Francisco Police Department. San Francisco. He on the other side of the United States.
what's the
And
gap
he knew
between,
exactly where this guy was going to be, at what time he was going to be there.
like, have they pulled his like internet history? Have they pulled that stuff? I mean, honestly, like he would
I'm
have
not
had to
showing that
spend
yet.
a lot of time and recent time. If he knew where the guy was, he'd have to have some recent update as to why he was there, right? Like if it's a conference or something, he can't know 6 months out. He has to only know a couple days, right? So, and then he has to know what he looks like. I mean, if I was to pull a guy off the internet that I wanted to go kill and then go stalk him, I would have to do like a quadruple take to make sure I got the right guy. Like, is that the right guy? Because seeing someone
Right.
on the internet and seeing him in person is two different things. So you
Right.
never know. Um, the whole situation is very fishy. What I'm thinking is, if this is an intelligence hit and not just the cover story like we're getting, then perhaps the CEO was, stepping out of line in his behind the scenes things, whatever he was doing. Meaning he was going to rat on their pedo parties. He was going to, do something that rocked the boat for these establishment people. But yeah, the story is way too convenient. People with millions of dollars or a bright future don't typically go and murder anybody, especially when they've only had a debilitating injury that he could still walk with, right? For a year and a half. I mean, this is
Like it
ridiculous.
was moving pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen some people with back injuries before. They ain't moving that great. Now, allegedly they've got the photos of him 2 times with the regular kind of like a black face mask pulled up, but then they switched to where all of a sudden he's wearing one of those damn convid masks. Those damn the blue napkins.
See,
People started wearing for a while.
I see people wearing that shit, and I'm like, you're either up to no good or you got some herpes on your face or something. Like, ain't nobody wearing that shit except for the really neurotic. You know, they're really neurotic.
Oh boy, boy, boy. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Let me pull this picture of the gun up right here. This is what they had. This right here. They
That
said this is the 3D printed gun he
that
had.
ain't that's a Glock. That's a fucking
This is what they
Glock.
said.
That's a
They
Glock.
said this was 3D printed.
That's a Glock. I'm looking at a fucking Glock.
I'm just letting you know what they said, man. I'm letting you know what they said. They're trying to go after ghost guns, man. You know what I'm saying?
They're saying that,
Look, I mean,
okay. That's
how,
I mean, there's no reason to fucking print that. You can go buy one. You can buy a replacement one for like $200.
yeah, that is true. That's true. Yeah, but that's what they said that they had up there.
But here's the thing, like he kills the guy, and then immediately after that, then the media starts getting reports of everyone's pissed off about healthcare in the country. So
Yeah, and folks were clapping for him and all that stuff. They were like, "Oh man, yeah." They said, "I don't feel bad at all that he went and shot him." I'm like,
yeah, and it's funny
I
because
mean,
I saw on CNN, maybe it was even your Republican guy who was talking about it, or maybe not, but basically that
it might have
all
been
it
Scott
takes is
Jennings. It might have been Scott Jennings.
all it's going to take is one juror out of 12. All you need is one to sympathize with the guy and understand where he's coming from. He can get up on that stand and give his fucking manifesto, and if one person is sympathetic, it's not guilty. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and I think there's a good chance of that happening, even though, and they know this. And so when he goes to trial, they're going to beat into the heads of the fucking jurors. Number one, they're going to pick a bunch of lefty faggots. That's number one. They're going to do that, guaranteed. Number two, they're going to beat into their fucking head that even if you sympathize, if he did it, you got to find him guilty, right? Even if you sympathize, you can't find him not guilty. You're going to have to find him guilty if he did this and this, right? But jurors shouldn't take that into consideration.
Look, I'm sorry. I mean, now I'm not so sure that this is the actual guy. You know what I'm saying? I can't 100% confirm nor deny. But whoever actually did the shooting, I mean, it's just straight up murder. I mean, that's kind of cut and dry. Like that's it. Whatever your views are, well, people were like, "Oh, those piece of shit, man." We got to be real careful when we start talking about stuff like that, because otherwise, the particular industry I'm in, somebody could feel like one day that, well, damn, bud, you stuck me with all this and knowing I can't afford to get this and that fixed on my car, so you're a piece of shit. You're trying to take advantage of me. Why not just go shoot the people at the dealership? Why not go shoot somebody? You know what I'm saying? Like you can just get a touch out of hand with what you're clapping for, and you might be on the chopping block depending on what your job is.
And I don't know, it would seem it's as bad. Well, here's the thing. I was going to say cops aren't as bad today, or I don't know if cops are as bad today in regards to this, but like with Oswald, when he got arrested, the cops just made up a bunch of shit. Like
Mhm.
like number one, Oswald wasn't anywhere near the Tippit shooting, but when Tippit got shot, the story was that Oswald said after he shot him, called him like a dumb cop or something like that, and that was heard by one of the witnesses. You could tell the witness was full of shit. And then in the theater, when Oswald never had a gun, they obviously brought the gun with them. The cops brought the gun to the theater with them, and they said that Oswald got out of his seat and said, "It's all over." And something along the lines of, "I got me a cop and I got me a president, and now I'm going to take you all out," or something along those lines. I mean, they just made this shit up out of thin air. So
Mhm.
we don't really know how much of what they're telling us about this guy is just straight up made up total bullshit. You
Right.
know,
Now, as far as his background, it looks like he worked as a data engineer at a car buying website called True Car. He worked there all the way up to 2023, but it didn't have anything recent there. But he did graduate from University of Pennsylvania in 2020. He's got his Master of Science in Engineering, the major in Computer and Information Science. I mean, this just sounds like some dude who's going to pull off a clean cut hit in the middle of the day. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Not panic or nothing. Get right on a bike and just stroll off.
so I'm extremely trained on weapons, a lot of weapons. I mean, I fired all kinds of handguns, revolvers, AR-15, shotguns, you name it. I've shot it when I was a cop. I'm very comfortable with firearms in general. I promise you, if I was going to plan to murder someone and go murder them, I would be fucking shaking like this as I'm pulling the trigger. Someone who's got experience, someone who's actually confronted people on the street and gotten into fights on the street as a cop, I would be scared to fucking death and I'd be nervous and I'd be shaken. And so I don't know what's going on with this guy. I don't know how he could be so cool about it. But here's
Yeah,
another thing.
man.
Why would they send a hitman to take this guy out? Like what could, if it's not the story as we're told, then it's obviously something much
Right.
bigger. And it's something that
Right. Hmm.
I mean, the CIA does do false flag type stuff, you know,
Okay.
in order to like January 6th. That was as false flag as it gets. I mean, that was a straight up setup.
Right.
You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah.
the government will do that shit to get an outcome, right? Hopefully, Trump will throw all those motherfucking people around the January 6th thing in prison and exonerate all of the people who got arrested. But they do that kind of shit. It's provocateurs, right? These people are agent provocateurs, and so the CIA in particular, will do that kind of stuff. Now, did they do that here? We just don't know. I don't think we have enough information. This will be one of those things that people study for years to come.
Mm. Yeah, I know. Now, Mangione looks like he had said on Reddit that he had the spinal surgery in July 2023. In October, he indicated that the operation had gone well, saying that he was taking zero pain meds and hadn't had a bad day since the surgery, 8 days before. I mean, then in February 2024, Mangione said the surgery came 1.5 years of failed conservative treatment. So I don't like. I don't see anything for him to be pissed off about. Like, so the surgery went well. I didn't have to take any pain meds. Obviously, your folks got money because they sent you to the damn University of Pennsylvania. Um, uh, why are you pissed about the healthcare system again? I mean, it's just like, I mean,
Another
this
example
dude
is
went.
like another one is like the Las Vegas shooting. Same thing. They give us a story that makes no sense at all. None. And then it took a couple years afterwards for them to acknowledge that there were gunmen at like a half a dozen motherfucking casinos that night when all those people got shot in Vegas. There were fucking rounds
mm,
being fired at casinos all up and down the strip. There was people there planted doing stuff. And we didn't find that out for a year after it happened, right? So it might take a long time. Shit, there's stuff with Kennedy that took 50 years to come out. So,
right, yeah.
but the
So
story doesn't
like
make any
this
sense. And so anytime the
this
story
right
doesn't
here
make sense, you can
stinks.
guarantee that intelligence is involved somehow.
Okay, so it looks like he's related to a prominent Maryland family that owns country clubs, healthcare facilities, and real estate companies. So I mean, he's he's part of a family that owns healthcare facilities. I mean, it's just like like the motive doesn't even make any sense.
So I
And how
used to
you
say,
report McDonald's with all this shit? I mean,
back in the day when they would pull this shit off, you had absolute fucking genius masters of intelligence. You had guys like Frank Wisner. You had guys like Alan Dulles, James Angleton, David Morales. These are the fucking pimps of the CIA who literally pulled off the Kennedy assassination using 2 years worth of tradecraft, right? So that's not what they do today. They come up with a plan and they execute it in a couple of days or a week. They don't have this long-term methodical planning that they used to. Um, it's crazy. It's crazy because if you're going to go out of your way to commit a murder and then create plausible deniability, you're going to want to do it like in a rock solid manner to which there's not many holes, you know. And
yeah, like
so
not having the fucking gun with you and
so
the
did he have the gun?
silencer.
He had the gun and a silencer when he was arrested.
Yeah, at McDonald's with his manifesto
And here's
all
another thing:
together.
we have not heard a word out of this guy's mouth. I need to make this really clear. All we
Well,
know is
he yelled something
he yelled
when
something,
they were
but
taking he yelled something when they take him to jail. It didn't really make no sense, but
so with Kennedy, literally, there are 100, 200 pages on things that people said Oswald said while he was in custody, right? Like Oswald said this. And so people consider that and they take it into their formulation of what happened. And you can't fucking do that because we can't trust anything that came out of Dallas police with Kennedy. They all are liars. So anytime they say Oswald said this, we can't trust them at all because they're fucking liars, right? Same thing with this guy unless we hear it out of his mouth, we can't take for granted that he said or did anything at all, period. As far as I know, the CIA had a gun to his head and said, here, put all this shit in your pockets and go sit in that fucking McDonald's and wait. And that's it. And that's what he did. And that's what he did.
oh man, hey, look, you know what's key is that they had a $50,000 reward with information leading to the capture of this particular shooter. And the problem is the McDonald's worker called 911 as opposed to calling the hotline, so they may not get the 50K because
Anytime
they
there's a
didn't use the
reward for
hotline.
something, anytime there's a reward for something, it's like no one ever gets the fucking reward ever. And if they do, they tie them up for like 2 years because they don't really want to give it up. It's like Pee Wee's Big Adventure. Remember Pee Wee's Big Adventure? Oh, I'm going to put out a
hmm
reward. Well, then whoever brings me the bike obviously stole it, so they don't deserve the reward. That's exactly the fucking mentality.
is it kind? Is it? No, you may get the reward, but it may kind of be like what is it like? When you get a rebate, you know,
Oh,
it'll be with you in 8 to 12 weeks. You
they'll
know what I'm
send you your
saying?
10
Because
grand
they
in
have
McDonald's
forgot it.
coupons or some shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, don't you hate that shit? Somebody fucks up and they take too much money or whatever and be like, hey man, can you put that back on my card? Well, it takes us about 30 days to get it back on your card. I said, but you took it today. Like you took the money today. It's gonna take
Mhm.
you 30 to get it back to me. It's like, yeah, that's the way this thing works. I'm like, okay. I mean, I feel you, but my Tommy gun don't. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just some bad stuff. So yeah, the Luigi, uh, it kind of stinks a little bit. The fact that he got caught, or his face got shown because allegedly he was flirting with some barista in Starbucks, and then later on he goes to Pennsylvania to get him a McGriddle, and has all the damning evidence with him at that point in time.
Okay, so I
And
eat
the fact that
McGriddles because I'm fucking
none of his
poor.
family member, yeah, yeah, none of his family members um came out and said, "Hey, that's our missing son right there." Like,
Well, at
like
least the
the whole
family's not in
world's
on
seeing
it.
these photos.
At
Yeah,
least the family's not in on it because, like, when Oswald got fucking busted, all of a sudden his fucking brother comes out of the woodwork and is like, "Oh man, he killed the president. I can't believe he did it." And then he wrote a book about how he did it. I'm like, wait a minute, what? You're his brother. You're supposed to be defending the motherfucker, and you threw him under the bus on day one. Shit, it's because it wasn't his
yes,
brother.
yes, that's what I do. All right, I'm throwing He said immediately. I'm gonna do that immediately. All right. So yeah, Luigi, it'll be kind of interesting. Corey, we got a lot of people out there who are heralding this guy as a hero for what he did. I'm like, ain't nothing heroic about this. I mean, you shot somebody in the street that wasn't expecting to get shot. I mean,
Well, here's the problem. They're just going to replace him with some other douchebag who's going to make the same decisions. I mean, the entire
yeah,
reason insurance companies are in business is because they know how to deny people coverage or deny people the
exactly.
payout. That's the only reason they exist at all. Because if every single claim got paid out, they would be they would be broke. That's why they left Florida. That's why the housing insurers all
Yeah,
left fucking Florida because they actually had to pay out. And they're like, oh, there ain't no money here, so let's go. It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
that'd be broke. And I know this sounds bad, but look, there are certain professions out here where you make your living off of other people's misfortunes. Okay. And I know this is gonna sound bad, but suck it up and get the fuck over it. I mean, look, man, it sounds terrible. All right, that right there is not what people want to hear. But the best thing that you can do is to make sure you keep your body as healthy as possible. You know, and a lot of that comes down to keeping your weight down. That's the number one thing in America. We just got too many folks who are way overweight.
Well, I'll tell you
Just
this from
just toting
personal
too much
experience.
ass.
I've
Hmm.
lost in the past, shit, in the last 2 years, I went from 235. I'm right now about 190. So that's like 45 pounds in the last 2 years since I moved here to Fort Collins. And you know how you do it? You just don't eat. Just don't fucking eat. I literally been doing like one meal a day for fucking as long as I can remember now. And wasn't even like a plan. I just kind of gradually got there. And the weight just comes right off. You do that shit. So there's no reason for
Yes.
anybody to be fat. Really, if you're fucking
That's
fat in
it.
2024, you got some issues. And you ain't getting
Yeah.
laid. So fucking, you got to do something
Well,
about that.
well. America is obesity ridden. So a lot of our health issues are self-imposed.
Oh, yeah.
So let's just say that. So I mean, when folks, why they deny this, deny that? Well, if you just going for a broken arm, you know what I'm saying? They're probably gonna pay that. You know what I'm saying? Stuff that happens to you that you can't really foresee per se, such as accidents. But a lot of our health issues in America are because of our own self destruction. So you got to understand, insurance company, they're there to make money. They're not there to cover every single thing that you got. Um, uh, is it one of the biggest scams? Yes. But hey, they've also paid out some claims. So you know, from what I understand, I think United Healthcare is they. I think they make the most money at any
They're the
health
biggest
insurance
they're the biggest
in
in the world.
America. I think,
Yeah. They're only like
and they're the biggest denier of claims as well. So
oh yeah, that's I think the two go hand in hand. But they're
right,
only like they're like third or fourth in the country after like Apple and Google. Like they're up there in that top 5 or 10 companies in the country, and you only get that way by denying coverage or in theory everybody pays out like Okay, so let's use my own experience with insurance to kind of analogize this. So I wrecked a motorcycle like 10 years ago, and I ended up getting it was my fault, but nonetheless, I ended up getting a payout of like 6 or 7 grand. They covered the motorcycle and paid it off and gave me the remainder. And they paid off the other guy's fucking car. They didn't raise my rates or anything. And the amount of money I got back and the coverage that they covered was more than all the payments I had ever made for insurance my whole life. Okay, so that means
Right.
that
Mm-hmm.
the system worked. Number one, but number two, somebody else made a payment into their insurance that ended up covering part of my coverage because obviously if they paid out more than I had ever paid in, somebody else covered that difference. That's the problem with insurance is that at some point in time, if you get paid out on something big, like a multi-million-dollar house or like health insurance for millions of dollars because you had like Aflac and then you got AIDS or something, those type of events are the things that put them out of business, right? In a perfect world, you'll
Mm-hmm.
pay insurance your whole life and never use it. That's the
Right.
ultimate, but that's not the case. People use it every day, all the time. Um,
Right.
so I'm on the fence with insurance. I can't tell if it's like a big picture scam or if we can get by without it or what. If you don't have money set aside to cover whatever it is that your insurance would pay for, then you're kind of fucked. So
Yes. And that would be 99.9% of people.
correct. And so I saw this couple down in Florida on the news. They were talking about the condo crisis because they had a condo and they had to, in Florida, condo people are totally fucked. Besides the
Mm-hmm.
insurance, like the state passed a law saying that all condos have to be solvent, meaning they had to have X amount of percent in money over and above whatever. And like none of them had it. Like literally no condo place in goddamn Florida had it. And so everybody who lives in a condo in Florida got a bill for like however many tens of thousands of dollars to make up that difference. And so you got a crisis of unbelievable proportions happening in the condo world down there. I forget my point. What the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. You're not sure if insurance is 100% scam
Right,
or
the
if it's just
couple.
like a
So this
necessary evil.
so this couple saw the price of their insurance was some in the thousands. It was just ridiculous, right? So they're like, well, fuck that. And they basically took 100 grand and put 100 grand aside. And they said, that's our insurance. If something goes wrong, we got the money set aside. So they skipped out on buying house insurance. So if everybody could do that, then we wouldn't need insurance. But
Right.
I got a
But this,
solution. Let's just all be rich. That's just the deal. Just all be rich.
hey, I seen somebody say that on X that Elon Musk is worth 351 billion. There's 8 billion people in the world. If he and so he could give everybody $1 billion and still have 300 something left. I'm like, that's
What math is that? Who the fuck did that
that
math?
man. This person she put it there straight face, and folks were roasting her ass. They're like, that's like, but look, if you gave everybody $1 billion, don't worry, it's called fucking inflation.
Yeah,
Dude.
your Big Mac will cost a fucking million. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, it'd be astronomical numbers. It's just like, damn. That's why that's why we say just print money into infinity that that decreases the value of it. And so if you gave everybody that money, i.e. reparations, reparations would cause hyperinflation. That's what it would do. Because you're just putting money into the market and there's no product to back it. All right, supply and demand. I mean, it's pretty simple, but I mean, you start talking to most people, man, they're just like, man, just give folks money. I'm just like, but it won't mean
No, it's
nothing once you
unfortunate
get
because
it though.
in order for money to have value, you have to have people who are broke and suffering. It's
Yes,
how it's part of the equation. There's no way around it.
yes, yes. That's the whole premise. All right, and we just wanted to get past the barter system, so it was something that everybody could agree on. Because otherwise, you have to figure out how many chickens you give somebody for their cow. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And maybe today I feel like I need 20 chickens. Next week I might need 40 chickens for another cow. You'd be like, why? That's 20 chickens more. I mean, can we do something about that? No. I mean, so I mean that's the way it would look. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Whatever you got, shrimp, whale blubber, caviar, whatever you were trading. So it just kind of is what it is on that front. Corey, I want to switch speeds a little bit. We've got it is the holiday season, so we've got a couple of movies coming out this month. One this week, Craven the Hunter, which I have heard is the last one they're making right now as far as Sony's villain verse for Spider-Man. They had Venom, they had Morbius, they've had Madam Web. Now we've got Craven the Hunter. Now I seen somebody say that the initial reviews had it at 9% Rotten Tomatoes. I was like, 9%? I
9.
mean, it is rated R. I mean, it's got to be above 9%. You know what I'm saying? Now, it did hurt me a little bit that they obviously that they don't think nobody's going to go watch this movie, so they put the first 8 minutes of the movie out, which I don't understand why they did that. It's kind of like Mortal Kombat putting out the opening scene in Mortal Kombat. I was like, that shit was fucking epic. Why'd y'all put that out to the internet? I mean, like, the fight between damn Scorpion and Sub Zero, that fight was badass. And y'all put that out for everybody to see right out the gate without watching the movie. It's like, fuck, I ain't gonna go watch the movie. I watched the best part. Literally, that was the best part of the movie. Um, but yeah, Craven the Hunter. This is the last for now of the villain verse, and from what I understand, what some people were saying, the reason that they kind of did this villain verse was to spread out their Spider-Man so they can make sure that they always had a great Spider-Man product that came out. Because I believe that Sony has to um they have to team up with Marvel to put out a Spider-Man movie at least every 5 years to retain their rights to Spider-Man. Otherwise, if they don't, then they lose it back to Marvel completely, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I hadn't heard of that, but that's what somebody was saying right here recently.
I can see that. I mean, because Marvel wants their money. So
Right, right. Which allegedly they are working on the next Spider-Man film right now. So we got that Craven the Hunter. I'm actually interested in watching it because it was rated R, and they kind of hurt me when they said it was 9%. I'm like, they saying it's less than Madam Web. Now I haven't looked at Madam Web yet, but I'm like, damn, man, it's rated R, man. Isn't that enough, Corey? It rated R. Doesn't that give you at least damn 30%? Means at least you get
back in
some
the day,
kind of
rated R meant
ratings. And
something. Rated R
yeah,
meant you got to see some titties. That's what it used to mean. It meant to see you meant you got to see titties. Not anymore. Well, maybe now that Trump's coming back, maybe we can make titties great again.
yeah, there we go. I don't know. They say Gen Z don't like titties.
They're a bunch of fucking. I'm not gonna say it. Fuck them.
They said they're not into titties. Okay, they said we rather not. So we got that, but then we've got a movie that everybody has been raving about that's watched it so far. That's coming out on Christmas, which is extremely weird day for this to come out. But that's Nosferatu.
Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see that.
They
Did you ever see Voyage of the
everybody.
Demeter?
No, I haven't yet. I was
Oh
waiting
my
for it to come
god.
to one.
Oh my
I
god, it
was
was so
waiting for it to
good.
come to one of my streaming platforms.
You got to find it. It's
I
so
haven't seen
good.
it yet.
So good. I mean, it was great. It was fucking great. Ooh, you got to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, the Nosferatu. They saying that this is the heat. Like they're saying this is the best movie of 2024. Which has
What?
2024 had any good movies? Yes.
Wow. Dune. Well, that was last year, 2023, wasn't it?
No,
Time
Dune
goes
was
so
this
quick.
year.
I can't even keep up any fucking more.
Dune was this year. Dune was this year.
All right.
Yeah, they're saying this. Yeah, they're saying this is the best movie of 2024. Actually, they're saying it's the best movie probably over the past few years. That's what they're saying about this Nosferatu movie. Billy,
If
I
they
think it's
actually did it right,
Eggers.
see, I think everybody's been wanting a vampire movie with the Nosferatu vampire because honestly, the Nosferatu, the original, was one of the most scary fucking vampire movies you'll ever goddamn see, and people wanted that recreation, and hopefully this will give it to us.
Oh, Count Orlok.
Orlok, yeah.
And you know who's playing him? Skarsgård. He's our resident scary guy now. He's Pennywise. He's Count Orlok. If you need somebody, because he looks fucking scary. He looks weird as shit.
And he was in
All
John
right,
Wick.
so I
He was in John Wick too, right?
believe he was.
Okay.
Yeah. He was. Uh, so So yeah, they're saying this is a masterpiece, Corey.
That's a big.
Straight up
Who the fuck? Who
masterpiece.
directed it and shit? Is this a lucky
Uh,
masterpiece or
no,
planned to be a
Robert
masterpiece?
Robert Eggers. He has been working on this movie since 2014. He's
When
been
was it
working on this
filmed?
movie for 10 years. I'm not sure when it was filmed, but it says that this has been a project he's been working on for the past 10 years.
I wonder if it's like one of those movies that feels grand, like a Lord of the Rings kind of thing.
It may. Let me give you some of Let's see. Let me pull up Robert Eggers. I know some of his other movies Hmm. that he's done. Okay, yeah. So he's the one that did the Northman.
Oh, oh, we're in good hands then. Oh shit, damn.
Yeah, he's the one that did the Northman. Yep, yep. So yeah, yeah. This is and let me see if I got something else up here of his, or they just okay. So the movies he did The Witch from 2015. I haven't seen that one.
Oh, he did The Witch also.
Anna Taylor Joy. Yeah.
Oh, we're in for a treat with this Nosferatu then, because those
Okay. He,
that movie was dark and sick. It was good.
okay. So yeah, he did that. He did The Lighthouse in 2019, The Northman in 2022, and then Nosferatu. So of the movies that he's done, his Rotten Tomatoes average scores 91%, 90%, 90%, 95%. That right now Nosferatu is rated at 95% on Rotten Tomato score. They're saying it's that good,
Wow,
over the top good,
that's wild.
like shit your britches good. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. I wasn't sure that people could make a movie like that anymore. I wasn't sure that was available to us. But that's what they're saying. All right. And somebody else was saying something about the Nosferatu character that they got sued back in the day because it was too close to Dracula. Because I guess it's kind of a uh, not a yin yang, but kind of a similar character, Count Orlok and Dracula. So the original Nosferatu had kind of gotten banned because
Hmm,
of copyright infringement per se.
interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Which it I don't know how because it'd be two different characters, but I don't know. You know how that shit works right there. Property rights and all that stuff. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how Eggers pulls off his particular rendition of Count Orlok. Of course, we've got that classic look where Count Orlok like got rat teeth and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like that ninja ain't sneaking up on nobody. All right. I mean, when I see him, I'm like, no, cuz I ain't fucking with you. Um, so we got William Defoe in this movie as well. So we've got
I
a
like
few
William
names in
Dafoe, but
here. Yeah,
he pops up in too many movies.
yeah. We got Nicholas Holt, Lily Rose Depp, Emma Corrin.
Lily Rose Depp,
S-
like is she related to Johnny Depp?
Yep, we've got Aaron Taylor Johnson. How did he find enough time to do this movie and Craven the Hunter? Like he's in two movies this month. He is starring in Craven the Hunter and
Hmm.
he's in Nosferatu. I mean, he man doing big things. Well, maybe not with Craven the Hunter because that's what people are saying so far. That's what they're saying so far. And so after that, we'll get into the new year as far as films go. And there's not a whole lot of hope. We got a lot of Marvel films coming out this new year. They are going to have a lot of that. You're going to have your Fantastic Four. We're going to be kicking off the DCU with Superman this coming up year. Some people have said some good things on initial screening. I've heard some bad things on the Captain America Brave New World, like they're reshooting stuff right now. I'm like, dog, the movie comes out in a couple months. Like I know y'all ain't doing reshoots. Like it's a little late in the game to be doing reshoots. I heard that their test screening was not that great. My main thing on that is that their trailer game sucks because they already showed me the Red Hulk and that it's damn Harrison Ford. I'm like, the movie's got no mystery now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like if you watch the Nosferatu trailer, like you never see Count Orlok. Really, I mean, you never see like you don't. It didn't give away anything like at all. That's the way a trailer is. Oh, and they just released a trailer for the 28 Days Later series,
28 years
28
later.
years later. That trailer. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you. You want to talk about a movie that a zombie movie that fucked me up? That 28 Days Later. I'm like, oh shit, son, because
Um,
these son bitches are after you. Like they in a dead sprint the entire time, coming after your ass. And I'm like, it ain't like the damn, the Walking Dead zombies where they just like brain and it just walks slow and shit.
well, let's not get into the and anatomical reasons why they can't fucking run. They don't have developed muscles, tendons, ligaments, none of that shit. It's all just mush. So, like, yeah, the idea that zombies can run is kind of stupid on its face. But hey, suspension of disbelief, I'll go along with it because it looks cool.
I'm saying this is a different type of thing. This is the rage virus, you know.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's a little bit different, you know. And these zombies can starve to death. So that was the premise of that. Like when they ran out of quote unquote energy, like they just die off.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the premise of that. So the 28 years later, it looks pretty crazy, pretty wild. I ain't gonna lie to you. Or the 28 years later. So it'd be interesting how they're gonna set that up.
Well, I
It's
appreciate
been a
how they
little while.
waited. I appreciate how they waited a couple years to put out the 28 years later movie. I mean, if they'd waited like a year and put out 28 years later, it wouldn't have felt right. But now I can kind of be like, okay, it's been a while. I can kind of see 20 years, 28 years.
Yeah, so you telling me if they put it out and like came out in 2017, they put it out in 2018, you'd be like a little
Yeah,
soon,
a little soon.
just a little soon. That's all we're saying. That's all we're saying. So yeah, couple films there. We'll see how they shake out. I think Mufasa's out. A whole lot of people went and watched Wicked from what I've seen. I've heard that's actually doing pretty well at the box office.
Is that the fucking Wizard of Oz?
Wizard of Oz, yeah, damn, with now anorexic Ariana Grande. I don't know what the deal is there. Um, let me see how much money it's made. Much money has Wicked made? Let's see. So it has grossed 458 million worldwide. Yeah,
That's pretty good for a Wizard of Oz remake,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah. So some people have been going to watch that, even though it wouldn't be my thing to go watch, but obviously they probably people who got nostalgia of the original, which I didn't know they had made a sequel to the Wizard of Oz. I didn't even realize that.
I don't think there's ever been a real official sequel ever.
Uh,
There have been some remakes. There was the Wiz. Remember the Wiz back in the day, um,
mm-hmm.
with Michael Jackson and Diana Ross. And then there was like Wicked, and then there was like a couple other things that were like kind of continuing the story in a roundabout kind of way. But like, there's never been an actual Wizard of Oz sequel, and at this point, it's been 100 fucking years. So the studio shouldn't try it now. Could I appreciate them starting like a reboot of new stuff with the additional books? Because there's like 5 or 6 books in the Wizard of Oz, and the movie only covers the first one. So there's a lot of story left to tell that's never really been told, I think, properly or adequately. The question is a modern audience going to appreciate it? And I would think after the fucking last decade of dog shit we've been force fed, people would like something that was quality, especially built on something that they're familiar with already.
Right, right, right. And about everything we get now is familiar pieces, remakes. Some of the original stuff is more overseas. Anything that's kind of more original. In the states, we really ain't got a whole lot of originality right now.
Not at all. And so they're remaking. I don't know how to feel about this. I hope they do it right. They're remaking They Live with Andy Serkis. Isn't that his name? Gollum?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's the star of the new fucking remake of They Live. So we'll see. We'll see. Because that movie, the original, is a classic. It's got the greatest fight scene in any movie of all time. It's like 20 minutes
Mm-hmm.
long. The fight scene is like, I swear to God, you think it's over like 5 times and it ain't over. And then finally he gets the goddamn glasses on and it's like, oh, the whole fight scene was for nothing. So, but
Oh
that was a
man, the
phenomenal
classic
movie.
road pool.
Even the setup in the beginning with the homeless people and the shelter and the church over there. I mean, every little thing about it was just perfect. So we'll see.
Yep.
Hopefully they'll pull it
So
off.
yeah. Yep. Well, we'll see. All right. So it depends on who gets their hands on it. So yeah, that's this holiday season of movies. Nosferatu, not quite a Christmas movie, but I guess what better time to put it out? 'Tis the season, right? So we're gonna jump into our main topic at hand. Beg your pardon. We have Hunter Biden being pardoned by his father, Joe Biden.
This is, you can, if you couldn't see this coming a mile away, like, I don't know what to fucking tell you. Like,
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people who are up in arms right now, feeling like they've been lied to
well, they were lied to.
because Joe Biden said that he wasn't going to pardon his son.
Joe Biden's a fucking filthy liar. Joe Biden was an honorary pallbearer at the funeral of Jack Valenti, who was the grassy knoll shooter. Only about a dozen people got that honor. Joe Biden was one of them. The relationship between Biden and
Yeah,
Valenti, I don't know, but no, like,
right.
fuck that guy.
Now, his um his actual charges, if I'm correct, one of them's tax evasion, I believe, and the other one was lying on a firearm form about being on drugs, addicted to drugs, something like that. Is that correct? I think that was the two.
What? Say that again.
I think something about lying on the actual documentation or when purchasing a firearm.
Right, right.
Let me see. Let me the Hunter Biden charges. Let me see. Let me make sure I got this right. Okay, so he was convicted of three federal firearms related felony charges in 2024 after he had admitted to illegally owning a gun while a drug user. That's it.
That's a stupid
And then
rule
it's
because how many people out there who own guns use drugs simultaneously? A lot. A lot. What do you say? 10, 15, 20%? At least weed.
well, they're saying he was a cokehead. But and then his tax affairs have been under federal criminal investigation since late 2018. Okay, but then Biden pled guilty to all tax charges in September of 2024. Okay, so yeah, he got let go from all that. He's free and clear. And like I said, there's some people out there that are scratching their heads because they feel like Joe Biden was honorable. I'm like, look, anybody in positions of power doesn't have much honor. Okay, if you were in a position of power, your honor would be low. All right, I'm just letting you know right now, your honor would be low. And people out there who got their ass on their shoulders, who own this moral high ground, look, man, if I'm in there, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna prop up my buddies. I'm gonna build shell companies. They're gonna get filthy rich, all right, and then we're gonna make out like bandits. Look, man, it sounds crazy, but human nature is human nature, all right. And so that's his son, and he kind of knows that his son was going to go to jail.
Human nature doesn't really ever change, does it? It's the same shit people get in trouble for today that they did 1,000 years ago, 10,000 years
Yeah, it's
ago.
the same
You know,
shit. I mean,
your
and
brother,
he
what
wasn't
your
doing.
brother's wife is walking around the house fucking naked, and you're gonna hit that shit, okay? Like, it don't fucking matter what moral background you come from. So some things never change. Human nature will not change, and we
Yeah,
lie.
yeah. So
People lie. That's the thing that makes humans unique, is we can fucking lie, and we do. All of
yeah,
us every
hmm
day.
yeah. You see, things that are out there in nature, they can't lie to each other. You're either
No.
predator or you're prey. That's it.
Yep. That's what it comes
Friend
down
or
to.
foe. That's it. There's no gray area when you're out there in nature. Us as humans, we live in the gray at all times. Okay,
It's
I mean,
exhausting being human.
it really is. It really is. So now that Hunter has been pardoned, and I'm still trying to figure out how he got off on this cheap alimony. Well, not alimony, child support, and managed to pay that woman off with some of his paintings. I'm like, how do that has no cash value, man? I mean, just like it has no cash value at all. It's like I'll pay you in paintings. It's like
But let's think about it from the perspective of scandal, which those paintings were obvious fucking money laundering of some sort. Um,
right,
they're dog shit, right? His work is dog shit. And so when you have that kind of scandal behind you, that kind of notoriety, does that add anything to a Hunter Biden painting? I mean, I would like to have a Hunter Biden painting because people be coming in my house and be like, "What's that?" I'd be like, "That's my Hunter Biden," and it'd be kind of like a little inside joke kind of thing, as along with being like, you wouldn't get it because of the good art, you'd get it because of his backstory. So,
right.
um, here's another person who's putting this blows me away, motherfucker. Um, John Hinckley sells his art on fucking eBay. Have you ever seen? Do you follow John Hinckley on X? John Hinckley, who shot
Mm-mm.
Reagan. John Hinckley shot Reagan, and his dad was friends with George Bush. Just coincidence, though. Um, that motherfucker paints like these like most basic design stick figure drawings of cats, and he sells them for like $500 on eBay. And I'm thinking about buying one, dude. That's a fucking great. Dude, how many could he possibly have? Maybe a couple hundred total in his life. That's a good collector item. A John Hinckley original painting. How's yeah.
It's a collector's item. But I mean, I don't know in the history. I have to go and do research on this, but in the history of filings and court filings where you pay child support with some of your paintings, uh, I ain't seen that shit. I mean, I'm saying, what, you Van Gogh or something? I mean, let me have something. Are you this one guy? This one guy is about to sell one of his paintings at auction. It is a blank white canvas. And is selling. He's the auction starting at 1.5 million. For this blank white canvas. But they're like, but no, it's different though because the type of paint that he used to paint the canvas white. I'm like,
Was it
well,
made
there's
from like the
nothing on there.
fucking jizz of a fucking rare albino elephant in the middle of the fucking Swahili or some
Yeah,
shit?
yeah, it'd be like my man who duct taped a banana to the wall, and some crypto guy paid 6.2 million, and then he took the banana off the wall and ate it. I'm like, you see, there's people out here to alleviate dumb folks of their money. It don't matter how much money you make, you can be alleviated of it. All right. And there's people out there to alleviate you of that. So since he's being pardoned, some people are now got a little speculation that he may pardon some other people out here before he gets out of office.
So
One
they're
name
talking
that
about
came up, Corey,
is he who
was
shall not be
Fauci.
named. Yep. I don't see how we can pardon. I thought Fauci didn't do anything wrong. I thought Fauci didn't have any criminal charges. How can you pardon somebody preemptively? You can't. You can't. You can't. Period.
Fauci.
It's so
A
stupid.
preemptive pardon.
Here's the deal. No matter how much hope we
I
get that they're going to lock these people up, they're not going to. They're not
Yeah,
going
it's
to.
gonna be hard too.
What they're going to do is they're going to lock up all the people who went after Trump. He's going to go after Letitia James. He's going to go after Fannie Willis. He's going to go after all these cunts. Alvin Bragg, that cocksucker. Oh, he's definitely going to go after all these fucking guys. You know what I don't like? They dumped these cases to put on Trump on black people. All the prosecutors are black. They just fucked the black man again by giving him all these cases. Really, if you notice that. Now, that was a major injustice, if you ask me. Because now they look stupid for
Oh
bringing the cases in the
man.
first place. You know what I mean? Fucking dude, I don't like how that went down at all. At all. Those people didn't volunteer to do that shit. They were chosen because of their district or whatever. Except Letitia James. Like, fuck her to death. She needs to go to a fucking fat farm and then go to prison.
Hey, yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. So yeah, that name has came up. Somebody else said that Biden should go ahead and pardon Trump before he gets out of office. I'm like, okay.
Trump can pardon himself.
So it's a true FU. You know what I'm saying? That's a true FU. What other name have I heard? I've heard a little. I've
I
heard
heard Cheney.
everybody during. Yeah, yeah, Cheney. I've
Anybody
heard
connected with the
about.
January 6th commission is going to go, or should at least.
Yeah, yeah. Now Trump has said when he gets in office, he's looking to pardon everybody who's locked up from the January 6th stuff,
Yep, he should. 100%.
which he should. Which he should, because I mean, look, with all the footage that we got on that stuff now, I mean, it's obvious that in certain areas they invited them in, like they
But here's the
locked the
problem, though,
doors.
because all those people that he pardons, and he acknowledges it was a setup, then he's opening the door to billions of dollars in lawsuits. Period. Hey, the government fucked you, so I'm letting you all out of jail. Oh, great. You're acknowledging that you fucked us? Great. Now I'm going to sue. That's what everyone's going to do. It's what I would do. I don't give a fuck. He's Mr. Nice Guy, lets me out of jail. I'm going to sue the fucking piss out of him.
I'm suing. What you gonna sue for? Lost wages and future
Everything.
wages?
Everything. The whole fucking kit and caboodle for multi-millions.
Oh, multi-millions.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't gonna keep this nice and concise.
No, this is an easy multi-million per person lawsuit. They faked the whole thing. And they dragged a lot of people who are outside the Capitol just standing around are getting arrested 4 fucking years later. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. I ain't gonna lie to you. And like when they keep talking about insurrection, I'm just like, I need a
I
few
was
more depth
Me and
for
you
it
were
to be
messaging each
insurrection.
other. Me and you were messaging each other
Hmm.
at the fucking time, and I'm like, bro, are you seeing this? They're like, have you ever seen a fucking riot that stayed between the fucking the lines? Never,
Yeah,
never, never.
yeah. I mean that the whole Capitol building would have been in shambles. It'd have been burnt down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
There'd have
saying?
been like swastikas on the walls and shit, like with spray paint. I mean, like it would have been fucking crazy, but no, fucking
Yeah, and some
ridiculous.
folks would have died. Like a lot of folk would have died. Like deaths would have occurred.
So here's the thing: if this was a real insurgency and a real breaking into the Capitol, they would have had SWAT there shooting everybody as they came through the door. Because that's what I would have done if I was in charge of defending the Capitol building from a genuine fucking insurrection. Everyone dies
Oh,
coming in the building. They're all dead. Everyone's getting shot who
yeah,
comes in that fucking building because I'm the government and that's what we do. Right? That's exactly
right.
how it would fucking go down, and nobody would do a goddamn thing about it. And the first 100 people would die, and then everyone else would flee. That's how it would go down. But that's not how it
Right.
went
And
down.
yeah, on top of that, if I'm going there knowing that we about to get down, I'm bringing weaponry with me. You know what
Yeah.
I'm
Who the
saying?
fuck goes to overthrow a
What?
government and doesn't bring a weapon?
Yeah, yeah. Weaponry's coming with me. Like there's no doubt about it. I mean, I'm not coming there without gun, knife, something. You know what I'm saying? Something's coming with me that day. So I'm just like, man, it can't be an insurrection when ain't nobody bring no weapons. How can it be an insurrection? I'm like, yeah, I mean, I need true bloodshed. You know what I'm saying? For this to be an insurrection. And I don't know how people are understanding that. I'm just like, the Capitol building has been occupied before. Hell, I think wasn't it the
Trannies took it
Black
over, didn't
Panthers
they?
that yeah, wasn't it the Black Panthers that occupied it? And
I
they
think
brought
so.
rifles in there with them, I think. They brought
Yeah.
guns in there with them. So I
Yep.
mean, I mean, had a little bit different feel. You know what I'm saying? A little bit different feel than what this was. You know, people going in there, standing between the red ropes, checking shit out. And then you had another subset that looked like there was something going down. So it looked like almost like two separate things. It looked like one part was kind of a performance, and the other part was just folks just like being there, like, yeah, Trump won. I mean, that's about it. Yeah, I mean, I'm down with pardoning of all those people. I mean, I think there's been people in jail since that time,
Yeah.
hadn't there?
Who haven't even had trial yet.
Yeah. So it's just like they're just holding them.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Bro,
I'm like, what the hell?
I'd sue for like 50 million.
Yes. Man, so I sued for 50 million. Well, look, if George Floyd's family can get paid out, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they got 20 something million. I
Okay,
mean,
this is another example. Like George Floyd is a perfect example of like the story we got is complete bullshit. You know, like complete lies. Like, yeah,
hmm
motherfucker died of a drug overdose.
right.
It just didn't look good that the motherfucker was on his back. But um, but that whole thing was a fucking well, I don't want to say it was a setup, but the afterwards the way the media handled it via the CIA's instruction was completely fucking wrong. It was completely fucking not even remotely close to the truth. And that's a pattern that we've seen for goddamn ever. And I hope that Kash Patel taking over FBI will actually do something about the news media and propaganda. Really.
hmm
So what part of the problem with our propaganda is that when you go back and you study Goebbels and like the real propaganda is supposed to work, all propaganda comes from a centralized entity. Like when something would happen, Goebbels would make a fucking phone call and all the papers would shift direction like at his whim because that's just how they went. And that's not exactly how things have been going. It seems like these news agencies have been trying to come up with their own propaganda, and that violates the formula. All propaganda has to be unique, it has to be unified from one source. And when you violate that rule of propaganda, the whole thing turns to shit. And that's part of what happened. Because you can totally see when they deviate from the narrative and include their own bullshit. MSNBC is like horrible at that, really. And then
hmm
the
Right.
commentary, God, some of the people MSNBC puts on are so fucking stupid. I'm talking like low fucking IQ morons, like sub 100 IQs, which
Well, I mean, Joy
unfortunately is
Reid
like
does have her own show. Joy Reid's got her own show, which it just consists of just
she's just a
saying
racist
white
cunt.
people are bad.
She's just a racist cunt. Like seriously, fuck her. At least I respect her for like speaking her mind. You know, she basically says you dumb crackers without saying you dumb crackers every fucking show.
Right.
At least she has convictions. I at least respect her for that. But
Yeah, there ain't no doubt about it. And look, here's what the thing about that is that black people, Chinese people, Latina, none of y'all are safe either. If if you go against the agenda, then you are in fact white adjacent and part of the white privilege.
and
Okay.
they will grind you up quicker than they grind up a white person for turning
Yeah,
on the
that's
fucking. You know, you're supposed to be with us. No, it ain't how it
yeah.
works. I think the biggest crazy shift that the media couldn't handle was that minorities of all types were going to Trump, and they couldn't figure out why. Because like, oh, Trump's racist, and all the minorities were like, well, I don't see that. How is he racist? Right? Because he
Yeah.
goes, oh, I love Mexican people. I love tacos. Right? Like that
Yeah.
was, he said dumb. She says dumb shit. But
Yeah, that's pretty much what he does. Shit. He
I mean,
does. He
people
does
didn't.
do
Because
that.
let's be real, people don't like Trump because of the grab him by the pussy thing. Like they thought it was crude, and they thought he's crude, and that's what all this is about. It has nothing to do with policies. Has nothing to do with nothing. It has to do with they think he is a fucking crude country bumpkin kind of guy, and that's it. They're elitist, and so they look down at him.
And he kind of is.
He is, but he's not a politician, which is
Yeah.
good, you know.
Yeah, yeah, he's not a
But
politician
he
at
got
all.
in
Like
last
he's
time
not.
and he acted like one. He got in last time, and besides lowering taxes, he didn't do shit. He put the swamp back in there. He didn't do nothing. He gave us the COVID vaccine. Like he fucked us all around on a million different ways. So the only reason people have hope this time is because of the selections that he's made to be in this next administration. Kash Patel and all these guys. I wish he could have gotten Matt
Mhm.
Gaetz in there, but I guess he got Pam Bondi. I don't know how she's going to be. She's from Florida, so
Oh yeah,
Bondi she should be
yeah.
okay. But I was looking for someone who was going to be fucking ruthless,
hmm
ruthless and push the boundaries of what they could do. So,
Okay, okay. Oh, before we get out of here, um, stuff's been blowing up right here recently. Crypto wise, they said the bull market is upon us. What's your thoughts on the particular market at this time?
I mean, it's hot, but you got to understand something. Like it's all Bitcoin. It's all Bitcoin right now. So, and Bitcoin's growth was inevitable. So I don't really see it as a bull market right now at all. It's just
Okay.
it's just playing out as it's been predicted for years. And the Bitcoin dominance, what you really want to look at is Bitcoin dominance. For the last couple of years, Bitcoin dominance hovered around 50%. Dropped below that, I think they're like 45% maybe. meaning Bitcoin makes up what percentage of the whole market, right? Right now,
Right.
Bitcoin's at like 65% dominance right now, which means all other altcoins together combined is only 35% of the market, right? So it ain't a hot market. It's Bitcoin is doing what it's. Bitcoin was predicted to do this for the last 10, 15 years. So
Yeah, man.
it shouldn't be
But
shocking.
it's been all over my TikTok feed.
Mm-hmm.
Folks predicting, what different coins are going to do. Oh, this is the coin you need to buy. Oh, look at this meme
Well,
coin. I'm just like,
here's what I see happening. So number one, a lot of people who see Bitcoin break that 100,000 mark are going to be like, well, fuck, I don't have a chance with that now, which is totally wrong. Bitcoin you're going to see in your lifetime a 10 or 20 million, 50 million Bitcoin. Like, it's not even a question. Like, it's going to fucking happen because people don't understand Bitcoin. And the bottom line is you're looking at the value of the totality of the system. And how much is the totality of the Bitcoin system worth? It's fucking priceless. You can't put a fucking figure on it because it's the most goddamn perfect money the world's ever fucking seen with its own built-in payment network. Like, it is fucking devastating when you think about what it actually is and how it can eliminate with the systems it can destroy, and like all the other forms of currency and trading and all this that it can just demolish. How much banking it can eliminate. So a lot of people out there are going to be like, fuck, well, I missed the boat with Bitcoin, so I'm going to have to hop on with X, Y, or Z. So we're going to
meme
see.
coins or something like that.
Well, the meme coins are stupid. That's the thing. Meme coins are stupid. They don't do anything. They don't do anything. You're just hoping that hype and speculation will drive them up and you can get out and make some money. But they don't do anything. They're stupid. No one's ever going to fucking no one's ever going to buy Super Trump coin to go use it at the store. Okay. So, and that's another thing we need to talk about. Like, we're not using crypto to buy fucking coffee. Okay. It's never going to happen. Okay. I don't even want it to fucking happen. That's not the purpose of Bitcoin. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency had one purpose and one purpose only, and people have forgotten what that purpose is. Do you know what that purpose is?
To decentralize the money from banks,
Well, that's a
quote
byproduct.
unquote.
That's a side
Oh,
effect.
byproduct. Oh, okay.
The only goal, the one thing that Bitcoin was invented to do, the only thing was to prevent financial censorship. That is it. Anybody can download and install a Bitcoin wallet, and from that wallet, you can send to any other Bitcoin wallet in the world. That is the only fucking feature of Bitcoin that means a goddamn thing. That nobody can ever stop you from conducting a transaction. Because with modern day money, they can. Like the SWIFT system, they cut Russia off of SWIFT. They cut the whole country of Russia off the SWIFT system, right? So they couldn't do money transfers. So they created the BRICS, transfer system that they're doing now. So that's all Bitcoin does, is it removes financial boundaries. It removes the ability of someone else to tell you what you can and can't do with your money. That is the only thing Bitcoin is meant to do. And people have come up with a fucking 1,000 reasons why Bitcoin exists that are totally fucking, they're byproducts. They're not the purpose. So, but when you get to altcoins, that purpose goes away. Though there's no purpose in altcoins. Well, that's not exactly true. There can be purpose, but it's different. And like Ethereum, the only reason Ethereum exists is so that people can create coins on its network without having to create their own network, which is, I understand the concept, but it opened the door to all these scams. Ethereum did first, and then Solana. This is the problem. When you look at the technology itself, Solana is probably the single best crypto technology in the world. Better than Bitcoin, better than Ethereum. It is the ability to process so many fucking transactions simultaneously. It's unreal. It basically functions like multiple blockchains. Like Bitcoin is only one block at a time. Ethereum was one block at a time. So people have been arguing over how fast can they spit out blocks and maintain security, because that's the biggest problem. If Bitcoin, so with Bitcoin, it creates a block, and then that block gets filled with transactions. And a block is just really a philosophical term for a grouping of transactions. That's it. But it takes 10 minutes. Every 10 minutes, you get a Bitcoin block. And that was done on purpose for security reasons. So if you want to hack the Bitcoin blockchain, you basically have a time limit. You have a 10-minute time limit to get in there and hack to break a SHA-256 encryption, and then reverse any transaction you're going to do. Because in 10 minutes, you're going to have another block, and you got to start the whole thing over again, right? The idea with altcoins is they spit out blocks every couple seconds or a minute, and that the faster you spit out blocks, even less time people have to do the hack. But that's not exactly true. It's a weird thinning of the network security layer, and therefore I'm not I'm not that much of a code guy or a tech guy, but a code guy, tech guy could explain to you how these fucking really quick confirmations are no good. But Solana is really, it smokes everything. But the only thing it's being used for are stupid meme coins, because it got so good and efficient at creating. You create a block, you can create a coin for literally like 50, $60, whereas Ethereum would cost you nearly 1,000. And so the price was so cheap that it opened even more doors for all these scam coins, which sucks, because when you look at like the top 100, when you look at all the coins on Solana, they're all dog shit, every one of them. And it's not a good usage of the technology. The technology is really good, and it's being used for dog shit. But that's going to change in a couple months.
So this is Corey's opinion that we don't have a bull market right now. It's just Bitcoin alone, no bull market.
Well, things have gone up because Bitcoin pulls everything up with it. That's just how it goes.
I think it went up and then everything dropped all of a sudden.
That happens too.
I think
Yeah.
it just recently had. I think it recently had a
So back in the day,
because I think it's because people started pulling profits.
Of course.
I think that was the premise.
So back in the day, it was great because there was no tether. I was trading Bitcoin when there was, and Ethereum and stuff when there was no tether. Tether is like a stable coin. It's valued at $1. Everything trades off a tether. But back in the day, before there was tether, there wasn't shit like that. So you had to trade Bitcoin off of Ethereum, or Bitcoin versus Litecoin, or Bitcoin versus whatever you're trading. What that meant was, when Bitcoin went up in fucking value, all you had to do for your shitcoin to go up is not sell it. Just hold on to it, because then as Bitcoin went up, it pulled everything with it. That's not so much the case today because of Tether, but still you have that effect somewhat. There's a lot of movement of things. You'll get a lot of trading volume increases if people are even just moving into Bitcoin. You'll get an increase in price because of an increase in volume, just because people are selling to go into Bitcoin. So there's this whole Rube Goldberg effect of various things that happen depending on how you're trading. But I haven't been following the market at all lately. It's been disheartening. I mean, I've been living on Bitcoin for like 10 years. I can't really complain. I don't have any room to complain, because I made a fuck ton of money back in like 2015, 2016. And that was basically what gave me the ability to like not have to work, right? Or get a job. I mean, I work, I do my Kennedy stuff and all that, but I had a couple years of a cushion, when I got started. But I have Bitcoin right now, but we're rolling it into our project. All my Bitcoin that I have, we're launching a crypto token, and we're doing it in the next couple months. We've talked about it once or twice, but we'll be talking about it again a lot in the future. But all my Bitcoin is getting rolled into this project. So, it's fucking disheartening that I've probably gone through 100, 200 Bitcoins in my fucking life, in transactional throughput. Not all at once. At once, I had 22 Bitcoins worth of fucking crypto back in 2016, 2017. But the Bitcoin was only worth Bitcoin was only worth $1,000 or 1,500 then. So it was like, do I cash it out now? It didn't feel like it was worth it. But was it worth it in the hindsight? I've continually gone through a system of like building up stores and then living off it, building up stores and living off it, right? So yeah, it's disappointing, because I was hoping to get rich on Bitcoin, but I'm not. It doesn't seem like I'm going to anytime soon, which sucks. So.
Well, you would have had to have been a mega holder. So you'd had to hold up until right here recently. You had
I would have had to fucking I'm sitting on 50 grand worth of Bitcoin, but I can't pay my rent. That's what the situation you find yourself, right? It's like, so
life.
I couldn't. How could I ever justify holding on to stuff if I couldn't pay my rent? I couldn't.
Right, and there's some people that kind of make me sick, that I see making different videos like, oh, all y'all motherfuckers are stupid. You got I said, bud, life happens, man.
Life happens.
And so in life, if you can't fucking eat, if you don't eat, it don't matter about your Bitcoin, because your ass is gonna die.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And unfortunately, man, like when I moved from Denver to Vegas back in 2017 or 2018, I had 6 Bitcoin left out of my stash. Even then, that was 100 grand. But Bitcoin went from, literally the first year that I was there, Bitcoin went from 20 grand to 3,500. And I sold my last 2 at 3,500. And the following week, it was back up at 7 or 8 grand. Literally a week later. A week later,
Right.
I fucking wanted to jump off a bridge. I've had that experience a dozen times. And it makes me want to literally go. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm going to go find me a bridge tonight. So it's disappointing. It's heartbreaking. And when you, it's like if you were in the 80s and you had a fucking couple thousand Microsoft stock, in 1980,
Mm-hmm.
and then you had to sell it to pay 2 months rent. I had
Yep.
10, 15 years of a toy collection built up that I sold for 2 months rent. That's the story of my fucking life because I won't get a job. Sorry. But I'm not good for. I don't belong in the job market. I just don't. You don't want me in your fucking business. I'm sorry. You just don't.
Listen, I'm not that guy. You know what I'm saying? Hey, some people are, some people ain't. So I mean, I guess it's fine. So we're gonna wrap up this week's episode of Beyond the Cube. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Corey, are you going to be on anything else the rest of this week?
Um,
Any other
Possibly,
shows?
but I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm really working on putting together. So I'm putting together a slide presentation, and I currently am at. Let me see, where am I at? Come on, move it, move it. Oh, God damn it, my computer just fucking froze. I'm at about 350 slides. I figure I'll have 500 to 600 when it's all said and done. Oh, I'm at 292.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm at 292 slides. I'm trying to put together, 500-600 slides, and then I'm gonna record a very long 4 to 5 hour presentation. And I'm probably gonna sell that in a package with my notes, my previous notes, my book, and this new video that I'm going to make for like $20. That's my plan. So I've kind of been putting a lot of energy into finishing up this slideshow, because when I get done, any of you idiots out there who don't believe that there was two Oswalds are going to be in for a fucking rude awakening. The evidence that I'm compiling is absolutely fucking undeniable. Absolutely fucking undeniable. People who don't comprehend this stuff and just throw like the CIA would never do that is just fucking ridiculous. Here, I'm going to do this one more time. Let me share this real quick. I'm going to share screen because I got my presentation up now. And so let's just look at these 2 slides. All right, so that's Lee Harvey Oswald. That's the real Lee Harvey Oswald, documented from the time he was a kid. I've got pictures even younger. I got pictures of him going back to like 2 years old. This is clearly all the same fucking person. This is the same guy. He's got a big fat neck. Look at the slope downward of his shoulders. Look how sloped his shoulders are. They're very like a 45-degree angle slope downward, right? This is the guy who we know as Lee Harvey Oswald, who was arrested on November 22nd. This is a different guy. This is not the same fucking person. This is not even remotely close to being the same fucking person. So then the question becomes, how did they pull this off? And that's the dance that I'm doing right now. The dance that I'm doing right now and assembling all this is showing exactly how they pulled it off. Like this picture up in the right-hand corner, that's allegedly Lee Oswald at Corregidor, which is in the Philippines. But he wrote on it 1957 at the bottom of the fucking, photograph. He wrote 1957. Everybody in the world tries to put that in January of 58. So everyone's saying, oh, Lee Harvey Oswald just put the wrong year on his own photograph. Are you fucking stupid? No. So there's a lot of controversy over that photograph, how it exists, why it exists, and all that stuff. Well, I figured it out. I know exactly when that was taken. I know exactly how he got to motherfucking Corregidor, and I know exactly when he left there so that the other Oswald could go there, because they did. Like ships passing in the fucking night. One was coming and the other was going. And so when you look at Oswald's record, it says that he was there from November all the way to the end of March, when in reality, he was there from October to January, left in January, while the other one was left in November to go there, and then came back at the end of March. So you've got this overlap, right? And this is the story of Oswald's life. It happens his whole fucking life. His entire life, you have weird overlaps of things like this. Residences, schools, people knew him over here when he was living over there. Like this is a common theme going all the way back to 1947 with Oswald. So that's all I give a fuck in the world about right now is Oswald's Marine record and sorting that out. Oswald's family history and kind of coming to understand what kind of shenanigans was going on that would open the door to these guys to intelligence. Because none of them seem like they're really like balls deep in intelligence. No, like, no, but
Mm-hmm.
we don't have enough information to really go on. All I know is that everybody's fucking everybody. People are spitting out kids that aren't their husbands, right? Like this is human
Everybody is
nature.
fucking everybody. There's no
Everybody's
doubt about
fucking
it. Everybody's
everybody.
fucking everybody.
And so that's what we got. We got a story where we got an extra person, and I'm sure that there were some people around fucking who probably shouldn't have been fucking, and they ended up with an extra kid that you're not allowed to have out of wedlock in 19 fucking 30 because you go to goddamn, out of wedlock prison or whatever the fucking call it. You were looked at like you were a whore if you had a kid out of wedlock back in the day. They did. You were like, what the fuck? So
The
they
whore
would
of
go
Babylon.
to great lengths to hide the fact that they had a child out of wedlock. And if that meant that they fucking stole the identity of a fucking dead kid and then raised them under that fucking name and said it was your friends who died or something. They did that shit just to avoid shame. And people don't consider that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a huge part of this. I guarantee that's a huge part of this. I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg. Did intelligence get a hold of them and then they did some of this shit? Or did they get caught doing some of this shit and then intelligence was like, hey, wait a minute, we got something for you? It was one of those things.
Gotcha.
Because you got to understand, intelligence, these motherfuckers are opportunistic. They stumble upon
Mm-hmm.
some shit. Like they found out, motherfuckers in naval intelligence find out that fucking Oswald defects to the Soviet Union. And the first fucking letters that came out were, hey, we need to talk to this guy. Not, hey, we need to arrest him for being a traitor. It was like, hey, we need to get him as an operative, right? That was the first fucking thing that was talked about before anything else. So yeah, they're very opportunistic like that. And they stumble across a weird situation with some people who got an extra kid with a fake name. And yeah, the CIA, all Angleton would be all over that. So
All right, so that's what Corey's working on. Um, and so yeah, be on the lookout for all that stuff. Hope y'all enjoyed this week's episode of Beyond the Cube. We hope to be with y'all on day 0 this coming up Sunday. UFC's done for the year. Well, no, they got one more event this weekend, but it's a fight night. It's not a pay-per-view main event.
oh great, we can start doing
Uh,
AEW wrestling.
pay-per-view. It's saying AEW. We'll catch y'all next week on Beyond the Cube. Your boy it's Q420, the powerful one, Corey Hughes, and AEW. We'll catch y'all next week. Peace out.